Hello everyone. I'm kind of hoping we don't get any releases next week so I can just chill a bit because it's been absolutely bonkers. I don't know if you saw, we did a video on a game actually that's going to be in this video because man, it's awesome and it's actually competing with Pokemon in terms of sales, which is crazy for a little indie or an indie. Firstly, congrats to the person who won a free game. Nice one. Here's your name. If you'd like to win a free game each and every week on our sales episode, just leave comments down below. All right, what are the best Nintendo Switch Eshop sale games for the Switch 1 or 2? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to SwitchUp. Now let's find out. So I'm assuming to celebrate Mario Day, where it is March the 10th, we've got a number of titles from Nintendo themselves on sale, which is very rare. We've got Super Mario the RPG down to £33. So it's their standard 33% discount that goes on until the 15th of March. But Glen reviewed this and he thoroughly enjoyed it, so I'm sticking it on the list. It has that Mario charm, but it takes things in that RPG direction and saw things reimagined or at least slightly reworked since the original release. It's filled with those bright, charming environments. Combat's actually surprisingly fast, and certainly one that you may wish to consider if you're wanting to get on the Mario bandwagon in some way but don't want the traditional Mario games. Next up then, and it's Kingdom Come Deliverance the Royal Edition, but this sale ends literally today or tomorrow if you're in America. It's £3.99, 90% off. That is an insane price. I have 150 hours in this game, and it's one of the best RPGs of all time. You take on the role of Henry of Skalitz. You're an absolute nobody. You start the game defenseless, sad, running away. Your parents get, or something happens. You need this for $3.99. Oh my goodness. On Switch 2, it runs more consistently. Yeah, wow. $3.99. That's one of the best sales I think I've ever seen, but it's annoying. You've only got like a day. So if you're seeing this on like Tuesday or Wednesday, man, you missed a good one. After that, we've got Blue Prince, which has a 34% discount. And this is the game that on the eShop at the moment has been competing with Pokemon Pokopia and actually managing to sell. I think it's got up to third or second maybe in the eShop charts. And it was a shadow drop during the Indie Direct, which was a bit mid, let's be honest. But this is great. We've done a video on it. I don't know whether it'll be out yet or whether it'll be coming out on Monday. But essentially, you inherit this massive estate in the countryside, but the only way that you can receive it is if you can discover the 46th room within the estate, like it's a hidden area. But how the game actually plays out, it's almost like a roguelite. So each day, you can open doors and you get 3 choices of what room is going to be next. And then you're trying to piece together all of the rooms. Each space has clues in it. Sometimes there are puzzles. It's brilliant. My description is rubbish, so I apologize for that. Hopefully that full video is out because that really gives you a flavor of it. But an easy recommendation, it's 16 quid, something like that. The normal price is about 24. Definitely pick it up. Then in the UK and EU regions, you've got Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which is down 80% to £7.99, a zombified Barjan. That's not bad at all, is it? This one can be a cooperative shooter, or you can play it on your own, and it uses Rebellion Interactive's, I think it's the X-Ray engine, the same one from the Sniper Elite series, but a whole lot of fun. Glen and I worked our way through this one in 2-player co-op. So yeah, go check that one out. That's Zombie Army 4. The Observer with the lovely, I'm calling him lovely, R.I.P. Rutger Hauer, is down 90% to £2.69. Now this one came from Bloober Team, who are well known for their horror games, but they worked here on a cyberpunk detective adventure. The sale for this is probably finished in the American regions, but in the UK it goes on until the 15th of March, and it is another that we have a full review on. But yeah, you take on the role of Rutger Hauer's, this detective. He's looking for, I think it's his son who's gone missing. And it has a nice atmosphere. Perhaps didn't quite live up to what it could have, but I think that's more to do with the ending. No spoilers, but sometimes games don't end as well as they start. The hidden gem this week is a game called Bloodless. Now, we actually did a sponsored video for this. It was published by Saber Interactive, and it was worked on by some real veterans. It was basically described as like a 2D pixelated Sekiro. The title is all about the fact that the main character refuses to use a weapon. So it's all about non-lethal combat, but it is really precise. Like, you have to be so aware of the environment. You will die a lot. But once you've dialed this slightly unusual, almost backwards combat system, yeah, it gets very compelling. It also tells a really cool story and is just a really stylistic experience. Now, Bloodless is just £4.04. That's 70% off. That goes on until the end of the month. Great game, and yeah, highly recommended as a bit of a hidden gem. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, either the Nintendo Switch 1 or Switch 2 edition. They're both 75% off at the moment. And this is one of those games that is aging like fine wine. Like, they keep adding to it. Basically, what you're getting is Hades with the Turtles. And if that appeals to you, you're going to really enjoy this. But they keep adding to it. They're adding new content, new characters, and that's what we like to see. Glen loved this, and since all of the updates have come out, including the Switch 2 edition, it just gets better and better. So if you're interested in that one, that sale goes on until the 24th of March. We do have a review if you want to see a bit more, but it also has 1 to 4 player co-op, which isn't something that you can say about Hades. As I say, the sale for that goes on until the 24th of March. Following on from that, you've got Doomsday Hunters. This was another that launched in the latter stage of the Switch 1's life. Not that the Switch 1 is dead, but the end of its, was it like 8 to 10 years? Holy mackerel. But it's a top-down roguelite that has 160 different enemies and 20 different bosses, but it's got a really unique feel to it. I'm trying to remember the game on the Amiga that reminded me. It wasn't the Lost Vikings, but it kind of was. Some of the artwork in that game reminds me of some of the stuff they created here. Gameplay completely different, so, don't go down that one. But there are also 1,200 different items and relics, as well as weapons and skills that mean every time you play, you tend to see something new. This is a great time. Loved it. Full video again, as most of these games on the channel. We don't just recommend things randomly. 67% off Doomsday Hunters. That's £5.04 until the 17th of March. Core Keeper on the Switch 1 is now £9.59. That's 40% off until the 12th of March. There is a Switch 2 edition, and I think there's a free upgrade. I hope I'm not wrong there. But the Switch 2 edition launched with a few issues. There has been, I'd say, 6 patches for this since the Switch 2 edition came out. So they've been working on it constantly, and I knew they would. It's one of those teams, and I think I recommended this in a sale when it dropped and said exactly that. Like, don't worry, it's one of those teams that just cares about their audience and their games. So Core Keeper for $9.59. It's a bit like you took Terraria and Minecraft and mixed them together. I think I just said Minecraft. I can't be the only one that makes that mistake. But yeah, the two games combined. This also has 4-player co-op. It is a whole lot of fun. Glen and I played this together. I need to go back to it for the all patched up. But yeah, I did see another patch came out a couple of days ago. So that's Core Keeper. The sale for that one, 40% off, goes on until the 12th of March. The hidden gem is ending so soon again. I think it's all the Play On published games. It's 90% off for Outward Definitive Edition at the moment. £3.19. Holy mackerel. That is such a price. This is an old school. Think somewhere between Morrowind and Ryzen. It's somewhere in the middle there. And it has those mechanics whereby things like you're in a cave, you have run out of potions, you can actually put down a camping bedroll and try and sleep on the ground. But during your sleep, you might be attacked by a wolf. The world's massive. It has that jankiness to it, that kind of, they allow things to happen that a lot of companies wouldn't, So you might find yourself completely outnumbered at one point and just running like a headless chicken across the map. But those moments are what make them great, aren't they, these types of games? So yeah, if you're after an RPG with some real survival mechanics, then check this one out. It does feature co-op, so if you've got a friend who owns it, you will need a copy each. But yeah, I mean, at £6, do the maths, 38, you can get 2 copies of that. Absolute bargain. That's Outward Definitive Edition. Sadly, the sale ends today in the UK and it ends tomorrow in America. That then takes us on to our Fed Cooks. Now, I was at the shop the other day returning it was a chainsaw chain, actually. Don't ask, it didn't fit. And the guy behind the counter, I was like, "You're South African, aren't you?" And he was like, "I am." And I went, "Do you like Fed Cook?" And his face lit up. You've never seen a happier man. He was like, "You're the first person to say that. I love Fed Cook." I haven't even tried a Fed Cook. I want one. Anyway, this is the section where we look at those, the Savaloys, the Costco hot dogs, the games that are so cheap that you'd be mad not to pick them up. But it might be bad for your health, or your backlog, in this case. First up, to celebrate the release of the sequel, which is coming out very soon, we've got Bulb Boy, 85% off, down to £1.07. Yes, please. That sale goes on until the end of the month and is a 2D horror puzzle game. Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth, the Daedalic Entertainment point-and-click adventure game at 90% off, £1.20, is worth playing just because, if you enjoyed the novels, which you should, if you haven't read them, you definitely should, they retell it in an interesting way. £1.20, you couldn't get anything for that really these days. The Bug Butcher, an insanely addictive loading game, so much fun for 2 players in co-op as well, £1.99. Yeah, I can handle that kind of price. We've got a great sale on Bendy and the Ink Machine over here. £1.59, 90% off until the 13th of March. It's a first-person puzzle action horror game. Yeah, for that price, nice. And last but not least, let's put a bit of Cat Quest in there, because this was one of the earliest games on Switch. I remember playing co-op and thinking, yeah, this console's perfect. So yeah, Cat Quest, stupidly cheap. Check it out. So that's it for this week. As always, if you want to save yourself a little bit more money, you can do so over at switchup.gg, where you can get 5% in cashback just by buying your eShop vouchers over there, and we get a tiny little kickback from Nintendo. Thank you to our Patreons, our members, all of you that enjoy the content, and for all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!